Greetings, language luminaries. Today we dwell into a profound intersection of nutrition, mindset, and professional efficacy, examining the distinctions between Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic foods and how these principles can sculpture clarity, composure, and career trajectory. My name is Rijutha Diwakar. I'm a YouTuber and I want you to like, share and subscribe to my channel Smart English World because it is a proficiency in my career as a career counselor, and I am recording a series of videos related to Sattvic diet and the 3 gunas which you have to follow. And I have an experience of 9 months in this curriculum, and my research papers which I conducted by visiting ISKCON and the foundations, that is Art of Living and Isha Foundation, as a reference to the videos. And I want to thank His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Gurji and Sadhguru for providing their proficiency in this conduct of mine. I want ISKCON and especially Prabhupada to bless me and provide guidance so that I can conclude my narrations that you are part of my curriculum as my language luminaries, and I want my research as a Salesforce architect with over 10.1 years of experience as an assistant project manager, tester and a developer to be quoted as a narration with an experience of 9 months in this fortitude. That is my reference as a YouTuber and Salesforce coach with the foundation which I was part of, that is UFABER, with a certification from eMaster as a business communication specialist. And now I want to be quoted as an influencer and an influential charismatic personality where I can develop my fortitude with the gravitas and the astute to be referred to as a ephemeral, and the elucidated statements to be concluded as a fast-paced narration. And I want to thank Prabhupada and quote my Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the reference, that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we can start our session today with the topic understanding Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic foods. Now, when we read this question, that is, does your food expand awareness or dull perception? We can foster our Sattvic foods, pure, nourishing and balanced, which fosters our mental equanimity, cognitive lucidity and disciplined action. Rajasic foods are part of this awareness curriculum where dull perception is tamasic. So Rajasic foods are rich in stimulation, provoke ambition, but may induce restlessness or impulsivity. When it comes to tamasic foods, dense and inert, can obscure judgment, dampen vitality and impede clarity under pressure. Now, I encourage the audience to listen to this vibration, and I want you to refer to this verse from chapter 17 in the Bhagavad Gita, verse 8. And I will play this verse as a reference to the ISKCON Foundation, and I want you to refer to the org which I refer as a curriculum, that is bhagavadgita.org. And I want you to narrate the reference, that is the curriculum which has to be narrated to you. So I want you to listen to this verse. want you to understand the vertical. That is the narration which I will quote as a reference to you, but you should understand the verse in depth. And I want you to refer to the ISKCON Foundation books so that you can understand the stories of Lord Krishna. And you can make a decision. If you want to read Bhagavad Gita, then you should understand this verse. That is Ayu Sattva Balarogya Rogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana. I repeat, Ayu Sattva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana. And I was able to correct the pronunciation with the narrations. That is, Sattvic food enhances longevity, clarity, strength, health, and inner joy. This is not spirituality, it is ancient behavioral science. Now, when we read the gunas sattva, and I want to answer the next question: why seek mental clarity without bodily discipline? And I want you to understand that sattva guna has clarity, balance, luminosity. Rajas has restlessness, ambition, agitation. Tamas has inertia, confusion, darkness. So when I speak about clarity, balance, and the third word which I want to use, I'm sorry if I've misspelled the conversation, that is clarity in the speech. I want you to refer to this nutrition, that is sattvic food, which is nutritionally simple, but the reference which I want you to include, that is cognitively sophisticated fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, clean water, and moderate dietary. But you have to focus on the sattvic food, which is non-overstimulating, easily assimilated, supportive of mental lucidity. As Sadhguru has expressed his feelings, if your body feels heavy after eating, why do you expect your mind to be sharp? This is where your interview preparation quietly begins. And now I want you to understand the curriculum. Is interview anxiety situational or self-generated? So the answer to this question is a sattvic diet reduces internal noise, making articulation cleaner, responses calmer, and listening sharper. When it comes to your efficiency in the vertical, that is, when you read the Bhagavad Gita and narrate your consequences, you should be clear with the automation, that is the interview process. So when you inculcate a diet which has fruits and nuts, I want you to add papaya in the nutrition so that you can have a juice or a smoothie, which we quoted as a narration to our Lord Krishna as prasad, and then have the itinerary as a curriculum and not as a menu. Every day I want you to understand your nutrition and your diet plan as a reference and not as a cumulative expression. Now I want you to focus on the next question. How often is stimulation mistaken for productivity? And I want you to understand the possibility of the Rajasic food that stimulates action without stillness. And now it includes excessively spicy foods, caffeinated overload, fried, salty, tangy indulgences. So you have to understand that the vertical which I'm quoting is caffeine which is overloaded, and if I mispronounce the words, you have to quote it as a comment so that I can pronounce the itineraries based on your curriculum. And I feel Rajasic food fuels ambition, but at a cost, that is impatience, nervous speech, over explanation. In interviews, rat-sick minds often speak too fast, interrupt themselves, over justify competence. So, I want you to answer this question: are you driven by clarity or by compulsion? My answer to this question is a reference to the next question: what shifts when meals cultivate stillness and balance, where many candidates fail not due to lack of skill but because their nervous system is overstimulated. Now, when we speak about the reflections that we want to narrate in the consequence that we will face, even as a dietitian, you have to plan your diet as a meal. Now, when it comes to the professional parallel, that is in interviews and high-stake professional interactions, your internal state mirrors your diet. Just as Sattvic foods cultivate calmness, confidence and articulate communication, when confronted with complex interview scenarios, a Sattvic approach, clarity of thought, moderation in expression and balance in reasoning ensures poised, persuasive responses. I want you to read this statement again. Are you nourishing energy or merely borrowing it? So, now I want you to focus on this picture and I want to introduce Sudha Murthy's insights on nutrition and mindfulness. As we explore these dietary paradigms, it is illuminating to reflect on Sudha Murthy's literary wisdom. And I want to quote Sudha Murthy Ma'am's work, that is The Old Man and His God, and her essays. She emphasizes mindful choices that nurture both body and intellect. Her reflections illustrate a critical principle: deliberate, conscious decisions, whether in nutrition, language, or career, lay the foundation for sustained excellence. By incorporating her perspectives, we understand that the cultivation of her inner equilibrium parallels the meticulous preparation required to excel in professional domains. And I want you to understand that the parameters which I am quoting as a reference to her itinerary is a reference to our prelude. That is, if we want our narrations to be quoted as a statement, then we have to focus on our diet plan and not the reference which is quoted to us as nourishing factor. As a nourishing factor. How does diet influence articulation and listening? Practice integration for interview preparation can be quoted as a narration to the next set of questions, that is, how does diet influence articulation and listening, and can ambition remain sustainable without inner equilibrium? I want you to understand that the stagnation is between the two verticals which I will quote, and the third vertical, that is a third point, which will help you to conclude to have Sattvic food as a nutrition. When preparing for interviews, adopt a Sattvic mindset, calm, composed and reflective. When it comes to the nutrition and the articulation, you have to listen to the diet plan and influence, that is your thought, that you have to focus on your diet so that you can focus on a workout. If you want to practice yoga, then you have to follow a diet plan which will help your inertia to play the career stagnation as an issue and not as a vertical. Now when we start articulating our references to our Lord Krishna, we have to understand that listening and structure your answers like a balanced diet to be quoted as a reference to my Lord. Now when it comes to the war in the Kurukshetra, I want our references to be quoted to the Pandavas, where we can articulate the foundation. And when we quote Sanjaya as our reference, we have to elaborates the sequences of events where Kurukshetra was in place with the foundation and the narration between the two individuals, that is Arjuna and Krishna, to be quoted as a reference to our nutrition. Nourishing with insights, concise with detail, and digestible for the listener, to be narrated as a consequence. Now, you have to adopt the Sattvic mindset, calm, composed, and reflective. Structure your answers like a balanced diet, nourishing with insights, concise with detail, and digestible for the listener, to be articulated in the next question as well. If we are able to sustain without inner equilibrium, then the ambition which we are part of can align preparation with both cognitive and emotional readiness, just as sattvic foods align body and mind. So, now what role does inertia play in career stagnation can be referred to as our normative principle, where I want you to understand that if you're looking for to enhance your wellness without breaking the bank, Rijutha Diwakar's diet strategies offer an intelligent, structured, and sustainable approach to nutrition. Her insights focus on simplicity, balance, and nutrient-rich meals that fuel both body and mind. Now, I want you to follow her channel for continuous inspiration and updates. That is Rijutha Diwakar, and I want you to like, share, and subscribe to her channel, because adopting smarter habits starts with actionable guidance. Let's nourish our bodies and minds intelligently. I want you to understand, and I want you to comment below which meal idea you will implement first and why. I want you to understand that the diet plan which I will quote will help you to train your body and mind. Is confidence trained by only mentally or biologically? Now, the plan which I'm quoting as a diet plan, which is cost-effective, holistic approach, realistic implementation, science and simplicity, which combines nutrition science with approachable cooking tips, can help you to narrate the consequence of this diet and the nutrition which you have to follow. Now, the plan which I want you to enhance is: start your day with a wholesome bowl of oats, almond milk, and fresh fruits. Mid-morning, a handful of soaked nuts and green tea. Lunch, brown rice, seasonal vegetables, and lentils. Evening snack, fresh fruit smoothie or sprout salad. Dinner, light vegetable khichdi with a side of curd. Hydrate frequently with water or herbal infusions throughout the day. So this plan is cost effective, that is, it is a practical meal option this is a practical meal options that are wallet friendly. Holistic approach focuses on physical vitality, mental clarity, and sustained energy. Realistic implementation, easy to follow routines for busy professionals and students alike. And I want you to understand that science and simplicity combines nutrition science with approachable cooking tips. As a reference to the itinerary, I want you to answer this question even in the comment. Do you prepare interviews internally or externally? When you're preparing a wholesome bowl of fruits, I want you to add pepper to it, so that your interview preparation is wholesome and not prohibitive in your itineraries. Now, I want the wholesome grain diet, which I've quoted as an exemption in your curriculum, to be quoted as a narration to me, and as a feedback, I want your perseverance in this diet plan to be narrated as a high-stake professional interaction. Just as Sattvic foods cultivate calmness and focus, I want you to understand when you are confronted with a complex interview scenario, Sattvic approach will help you to moderate your expressions. Now, when you're preparing for the interview, I want you to understand that is clarity, if clarity is power, why neglect its foundation. Now, this question will help you to understand that the narrations, that is the Sattvic diet and the plan which will help the curriculum to be quoted to us, that is Sudha Murthy Ma'am's books. And I want to quote this number, that is over 3,000 readers are finding practical wisdom that nurtures focus, discipline and mindful living. Her reflections on nutrition and conscious choices resonate deeply with those seeking clarity, not just in daily life, but in insights, but in professional growth. By sharing these insights with my followers, I aim to guide decisions and cultivating the resilience needed to excellence in interviews and career challenges. So, if you want to be perfect in your in the stagnation, I want you to understand that Sudha Murthy Ma'am's books will help you to grow. And if you are able to narrate your consequences as a affidavit in my life, I want you to understand that Sattvic system supports the clarity of your thought. But when you refer the tamasic food and the references which are quoted to us, that Rajasic food and tamasic food will help you to narrate the consequences. For example, tamasic consumption leads to mental fog, procrastination, emotional heaviness. In interviews, this manifests as delayed responses, incoherent sentence construction, lack of presence. If your mind resists effort, is the word really the problem? Now, if you answer this question, which is an unsettling question, tamasic food erodes initiative, the very quality interviewers seek. When it comes to the professional life, if language is the instrument, nutrition is the turning mechanism. You can help your reflections to be quoted as a true preparation which is holistic. If you like, share and subscribe, because this reflection encourages you to take care of your health, sharpen your mind and approach interview like with composure, then this space is already fulfilling its intent. I want you to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and as a final narration, I want you to understand that the statements which are quoted in this uh, video is prohibited with limitations, and I want you to follow Sudha Murthy Ma'am's videos. And as a gratitude post to my narrations and my mentors, especially Prabhupada, I want you to know that finally let us recognize that excellence is both deliberate and nurtured. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to my subscribers, family and friends who have supported this journey. Just as Sudha Murthy Ma'am's books illuminate mindful living, your engagement illuminates the path of learning and growth. Your thoughtful attention, reflections and engagement make this channel a crucible of clarity, a crucible of clarity and confidence. Smart English Food Master words elevate confidence, transform